Wicka wicka wow, wicka wicka wow wow West, Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. Yo, you don't want nada. Wait, wrong movie.
Wrong movie. Yeah, it didn't quite work.
Wrong movie altogether. Wrong. Shoot, that was my bad. I think we're gonna need to. There's no starting over here, unfortunately, with this show.
I tried many times. Oh, it never works out. You know what? This actually is a perfect time you did that. You threw that out there. And right before we went to hit record, I said I have a very controversial thing to say about this film that I don't know how you're going to react to it.
Oh, no. So I didn't know what I was setting up for, apparently.
You're setting up for it. I actually prefer Black Suits Come In, Nod Your Head to the original Men in Black theme.
Oh, dear Lord. Look, I get it. I do. And I respect it. You're wrong, but I respect it.
I think it might be the more rock and roll. It's more the rock and roll thing. You have that guitar bit going, like in that crunchy guitar kind of, which I'm a rock fan anyway, kind of generally speaking. So like it hit me in the right way. And I was sitting like, oh man, it's a banger. Right when you came on, I'm like, I love this song.
Oh, it is.
It's good. That's the only thing you'll never hear me say that I prefer in this film over the first film. That's it. That's the only one.
We're a minute and a half into this podcast, and you're already telling people like the end game, and we haven't even gotten there yet.
I know. I just realized I worked my ass off this morning. I've been like running around I walked like a bunch of miles and everything else. I realized I should.
Oh, look at you go! I'm so proud of you.
I got a sweat stain. I'm live, and when I got a sweat stain, I'm like on my chest right here. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Paul.
That's because you're hot, dude. Just own it. You're hot. You're a hot piece of ass, and you deserve to be. Yes, they're the new hotness.
New hotness.
Old and busted. New hotness.
Men in Black too, baby.
I know you do. Look, man, it's been a week. The legendary Robert Redford passed away. If you were not on the Patreon, I'm gonna go ahead and do this now, because if you were on the Patreon, you got to hear me talk about this. But for those who don't have the Patreon, get it, number one, so you could listen to us talk about Ant-Man and the legendary Robert Redford. But Paul killed Robert Redford for me specifically. And that was tragic. That was a hell of a Tuesday morning to wake up to. But the dude left us some great movies, and I've been rewatching some of his stuff this week, and I was such a reminder of like, man, what an old school Hollywood talent that guy was.
One of the last ones, man. They're starting to go down in a blaze of glory at this point. We're starting to lose like some of our legends. We don't have a lot of legends really replacing them at this point. Not that they're replacing them, but it's like stepping into that kind of void. But we don't have that anymore. And he was one of those last of the just Hollywood iconic movie legends, and in every way, the shape of the word, like his actor, director, his personality, he had a certain just gravitas added to every role he was in. He's just phenomenal. So
he's phenomenal talent, phenomenal human. I'm still real sad, to be honest, but it's also given me a reason to make people actually watch the Pete's Dragon remake. Like, I keep pushing it like a drug dealer, where I'm like peddling the Pete's Dragon remake, and people are like, really? And I'm like, look, I'm sure you like the original, and like that's great and fine, but I'm like, I need you to understand, the Pete's Dragon remake goes fucking hard, and you need to be watching it. And they're like, that seems weird. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not underselling it as much as you could, or I'm not overselling it the way you think I am. Like, Pete's Dragon as a remake fucking rules.
I'm going to say right now that is the least surprising thing. That feels like such a PJ Campbell move. What Robert Redford movie should you watch? You should watch Pete's Dragon.
Look, I gave other options too, but I'm also like, I'm going to need you to watch Pete's Dragon.
But Pete's Dragon. The Sting, my brother's been like The Natural, even Sneaker. Yeah, but Pete's Dragon.
Yeah. It really is the most me thing, isn't it?
It completely is. It is Muppet PJ at his best, honestly.
Muppet PJ at his best. Oh, again, if you're not on the Patreon, and I'm really pushing it this week only because I thought the Ant-Man episode was far and away one of the best reasons to have that. And I'm not going to tell you why, but Muppet PJ came out in full display. The opening of that episode might be the best podcast opening that we've ever had.
That's patreon.com/slash PLD Projects if you care to join. A bunch of MCU already on there. A bunch of the MCU rewatch already on there. So I will say, I want to bring it back now before we get into Men in Black 2. You said I killed Robert Redford by texting you. I don't know if that's worse or better than you informing me this morning of the Baywatch reboot that is coming to Fox. I feel they're equally tragic in their own way.
Yeah, for very different reasons.
Very different reasons, but they're in the same ball. They're in like, that same league, I think.
I saw that this morning, and like, I guess I had just hit refresh on my app just quick enough that it had only been up for a minute when the news broke, and I just sat there and stared at it for like 3 before I sent it to you, because I was like, this isn't real. I know it's on Variety's website, but it's not real, right?
You're looking for that extra word, like disbussing film, or like,
yeah,
like parody social media things. Yeah, I get it. I was the same way. I'm like, this can't be real. This can't be.
Haven't we moved past Baywatch?
We already did, because we even already had like a parody movie of it. Usually that's it. Usually once you get there, that's all you do. Like now we're going back to making it like I don't even know.
I mean, frankly speaking, and I'm gonna say this, that is kind of how I've been feeling about Tron Ares. Because a lot of the Tron Ares footage, especially the stuff set in the real world, reminds me of Pixels. The Adam Sandler comedy where the video games get out of the video games and start attacking the world.
So are you saying Pixels is the better version of Tron Ares? Is that what you're trying to say?
At the moment, potentially. The only thing it was missing was the banger 9 Inch Nails score, which I have listened to a few times already. I can already tell you it's probably going to be the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I have a feeling that was your precursor to the whole thing. I have not listened to it yet. I have decided I want to wait till I actually see the movie. I don't like listening to soundtracks first. I never really did. I did it once or twice, but I just kind of feel like I want to see it first and then listen to it afterwards. But of course, the problem is I don't know when I'm going to see Tron Ares. I'm not rushing out to see it. That's the only problem. But,
you know what the problem is for me?
What's that? You're never going to see it.
I'm going opening night.
Are you really?
I'm going opening night.
I guess it doesn't surprise me, but
I'm not happy about this, mind you. But I'm going opening night.
Once again, a very PJ thing to do.
Because, frankly speaking, I want more Tron.
Right.
I don't want more Tron with Jared Leto, but I want more Tron, and so I am going to go opening night. I'm not happy about this turn of events.
I'm trying to figure out whether if it wasn't Jared Leto in the lead, would I be as against them? I don't love the storyline anyway. I don't love the idea of them coming out through the world, like we've mentioned in our thread with Jeff, our friend Jeff.
Yeah.
The whole
Jeff, who says there's never been a good Tron movie, who I will punch him in the face one day. He's wrong. It's fine.
Definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong there. I'm starting to hear that more and more. Like people are saying, "Oh, Tron's not as good as we remember," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Tron was phenomenal for its. I mean, the graphics for its time was like phenomenal.
It looks amazing in 4K too. Yeah. I'm just gonna fucking throw that out there.
I'll throw it. Yeah, either way. I mean, so I don't love the story idea either. I'd rather keep it in like the way they had been doing it. But at the same time, if it wasn't Jared Leto, would I be as against this, or would I be more willing to like give it the benefit of the doubt? I kind of think I might be more willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and give it a shot. But because Jared Leto's in the lead, I don't like Jared Leto. That kills my excitement for it.
Well, and he produced this too. Like, that's the thing we're not really talking about is, like, not only is he the lead of this, like, creatively speaking, he was completely the reason the movie ended up happening.
Right.
So, like, our Monkey Paw situation was we wanted a sequel to Tron Legacy for so long, only to get, like, a sidequel story, because it's not really a follow-up to Legacy. And it's one that Jared Leto not only is the star of, but produced.
I mean, I understand that, like, from the studio's vantage point, Tron Legacy was not exactly a success. Let's be honest.
Well, that's because they thought it was going to do Avatar numbers. They were out of their minds thinking it was going to do Avatar numbers.
Right. But at their head, they're like, oh, this. I mean, and you know what? Honestly, here you go. Whether it's fair or not, there is a stench on the name because of it being unsuccessful. I think it was more successful than people give credit for, and I actually really liked the movie. You know, I both liked the movie. So
I mean, I think it's one of the greatest sequels of all time.
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's got everything you really want from a Tron movie. We love it. However, perception is key. A lot of times, the perception of it is this was a stanky failure. So the studio looks at that and goes, "Can we make a follow-up to that? Or if we're gonna do,
Except,
are we gonna try to make something different and side quill it to make it like to kind of keep away from it for a little
but
bit?"
but they made theme park attractions across the world using the Daft Punk score. So how much of a failure was it really if they made an entire ride that was based around Tron Legacy, using their designs, using their music, using the world
Maybe,
and some of the characters?
maybe, but isn't it the Daft Punk score the thing that kind of survived it? Like everybody, basically, the if you look back on Tron Legacy's
Or
legacy,
I'm
it is Daft Punk had an awesome score and the film sucked. That's the
well,
legacy is.
you know what though? I also think that in the Disney Plus era, I've also seen a lot of people who have gone back and they're like, actually, that movie is better than I thought, and or they discovered it after the fact.
And you're
So
not
I
wrong.
think
You're not wrong on that.
I
But
do
what's
think
the
that
studio
Disney,
side of things? What Disney
yeah,
sees.
but Disney's got to get their head out of their ass for numerous reasons.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I agree with you
There's a
110%.
lot that we could talk about right now with Disney that I don't want to get into
Yeah.
because Disney, but I will say, like, as far as Tron is concerned, this was not necessarily the right move. Now, granted, maybe turning it into a superhero film is exactly what it needs. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe that's what the audience really wants. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope not. Well, so did I. I hope not, because if I hope not, it sounds like I'm hoping that Tron Ares is going to fail. I don't necessarily hope it fails. I'd rather get more Tron movies eventually, because I do like the world that they've built. And if we get to go further on, well, here we're going to catch 22. Because if this is successful, we're going to go further down this storyline. And I don't
Uh-huh.
necessarily want this storyline. But if it fails, we're going to wait another 15, 20 years and maybe ever, if we ever get like another entry into the franchise. I can see 20 years from now, oh, Tron was good in the 80s. Let's try it again. But it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while if this one stinks.
Uh-huh.
Caught between a rock and a hard place.
Uh-huh. I don't know, man. It's like it's just so frustrating. It's just so angering. I'm just so tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll
Yeah.
say that Nine Inch Nails score is real good.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of fans that have been like weirdly upset about it online, but I'll say this. They are not trying to do Daft Punk, and I think that's a
No.
good thing. I think that the score is a nice bridge between the original film score, and a side of what Daft Punk was doing, but it is very much Nine Inch Nails. It is very, very like techno heavy, like synth heavy, I guess rather. It feels like a score out of the 80s.
Well,
And I think
I mean,
that's a
that's the way it
compliment,
should be.
but it also
It should
sounds
be.
dark.
That sounds like exactly what we need for a Tron movie. It should be a 80s sounding score, Cynthia 80s sounding score. It should be dark. It should be, I mean, that sounds like perfectly placed. And we already know that Trent Reznor and company are phenomenal at what they do. They're one of the better composers we have for scores in recent years.
100%.
So, absolutely. But
I don't know, man. It's a weird time to be alive that we're getting a Tron movie that I'm like kind of not super amped for.
yeah, same, same, same,
Because
same.
I really monkey pod this. I really monkey pod this, and I'm mad at myself for it.
How would PJ react from like 10 years ago? You're going to get a Tron sequel, but it's going to be Jared Leto doing this.
10 years ago, I don't know if I would have been as upset because I think it's only been over the past 6 or 7 that Leto really started to
Great on you.
yeah,
That's fair, I
yeah.
guess. I've been on the anti-Leto train for a while, so
Yeah,
never.
like I liked him more as a front man for 30 Seconds to Mars.
Mm,
Um, and so that was kind of my initial introduction of dealing with him.
right. Not my
And
so-called life with Claire Danes.
no, 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 sure wasn't.
That's how old I am.
No, no, you're young. You're young. You stop that. But we were both old enough to remember when Men in Black finally got a sequel
Right.
after its 1997 debut. It only took them 5 years to get to a second one, which in this day and age seems so wild that it took
Yeah.
them that long. Now, we must grant them that filming was delayed because of 9/11,
Yeah.
and they actually had to rework and redo parts of the movie because of it. but it took them a long time to figure out how to make a sequel to Men in Black, which is weird when you watch Men in Black 2 because they kind of just do the same story in reverse.
Mhm.
Because there is a thing that is potentially a light, not a galaxy, that was potentially not on Earth, but is actually on Earth.
Right.
And like you have an agent who has to go get a new partner, but it's his old partner. Like they do a lot of the same beats and a lot of the same things. And it's very strange because it's kind of Ghostbusters 2 in that regard.
Yeah, and for a world and a universe that is really sparked on imagination and, like, seems like it's, like, limitless. You could do so many different things. It just feels like a lazy, boring way to do it. The film feels not fresh. It feels tired. It kinda reminds me of, like, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets felt to me. Oh, we're just kind of redoing everything, but because we saw it all in the first film, it doesn't feel as magical the second time around. And it took us getting to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, where Quaron tried something different and sparked things up that all of a sudden felt like a different, like it felt more magical again.
Yeah,
This kind of
100%.
this kind of feels the same way, and like you said, Ghostbusters 2 feels the same way. It just kind of feels like a little bit more of a tired version. Like, we're doing it. I think Will Smith's happy to be there. Like, he does it, he puts his all into it like usual. I think Tommy Lee Jones is happy to work with him. I think they're having a good time, but it just doesn't feel like we're making anything really sparking right now.
No, and the truth of the matter is, you know, this was definitely done because the first had done so well,
Right.
obviously, and so they were kinda doing it because they felt like they had to,
Yeah.
um, and they really tried at one point. Apparently, there was a version of the script that leaned a lot heavier on a storyline involving this idea that Agent J was falling in love with Rosario's character,
Right.
Laura.
You see
But
that.
and you see it, but Barry Sonnenfeld even said, he was like, "People didn't like Will being the straight man during Wild Wild West. They don't really wanna see him doing the love interest thing like that. Like, they like him being Will Smith."
Right.
And he realized that it really wasn't gonna work for the story, so they had someone come in and basically rework the movie, and I guess they truncated the original version of it to cut a lot of that out and get to the stuff with Kay faster, which is saying something because it takes 30 minutes in an 88-minute movie for Tommy Lee Jones to appear for the first time on screen. Now, I'll say this. Sorry to step on it. I saw your look,
No.
but
Go
I'll
ahead.
preface this saying,
Go ahead.
that being said, the movie actually works quite well even when he's not on screen. So, like, the stuff with Jay in the beginning actually is really fun for me. I like all the stuff with Patrick Warburton and this idea that, like, since Kay left, he hasn't really worked well with anyone else. Like, I like all of that. Like, that's a
Yeah.
good story beat. That's fun. Warburton is hysterical. The that whole subway sequence is one of the best sequences in the series, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's
Patrick
great.
Patrick Warburton, I wrote in my notes, is, like, perfect for this franchise. He's the kind of
Yes.
actor that just works in this film, and, like, having him in there was a stroke of genius. I agree. That was like, if you had that, if you're gonna have this storyline with Jay as a straight man, and have him do his thing until Tommy Lee Jones comes back, having Patrick Warburton be the foil at the beginning was a stroke of genius, and actually was very, very, very funny, very, very imaginative. That works. I actually would love to have seen more, almost like a medley of him, like, working with different people and giving us a couple different shots, because I think that could have kept the energy going, the energy up, until we got to the point where we need, like, let's see him try and fail
Yeah.
at a bunch of different, possible replacements or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it doesn't not work. He does a good job. I mean, because Will Smith is a good actor. You might want to
Yes.
see him be Will Smith, and I get that. I totally understand that because Will Smith's fun. That Will Smith is fun, but he is capable, and it was working well. I'm actually surprised it took 30 minutes to get Tommy Lee Jones on screen, and I like you. I'm surprised that it did work well enough even without him on screen.
It does. And I think that's a credit to the fact that Will is as talented as he is,
Right.
honestly,
Yeah.
because you're really riding on his character and his charisma in that moment. Like
100%.
that's the thing that the movie does well is that once you realize that, and once you realize that Tommy Lee Jones is in this too, and the two of them together are dynamite again. Like the movie is really fun once they're together again. And one of the things that I have to
Agreed.
credit them for a little bit is letting Tommy Lee Jones like fall into the world a little bit the way that Jay did, but having Jay being the one who kind of walks him back down into this world. The scene in the post office is fantastic.
That's my
And the
favorite.
whole
That's my
why do
favorite
you
scene in the movie.
mine
Easily my
too.
favorite scene in the movie. It felt like there's the magic I've been kind of missing from
Mhm.
the film so far. Like, well, it did. Like I said, I did say it worked, and it did, but it wasn't what is magical. This one actually, I would put this scene up with anything in the first film. It felt inspired. It felt brilliant. It felt like okay, this is the Men in Black I'm used to. I like this, and it wasn't just Tommy Lee Jones, but he definitely helped a lot. I think.
Well, his reaction to everything is perfect.
Right.
Like in every regard. They do this really smart move because when Jay walks into the back with him and he starts beatboxing with the one alien,
Bismarcky.
and we realize that they're all gonna start like becoming themselves. They have the shot linger on Tommy Lee Jones where the camera keeps moving past Jay and you're watching his face.
Right.
And Jones plays it so well
Yep.
where he's like oddly not uncomfortable. He's almost enticed, but he's also terrified. And it's a weird like masterstroke of a performance, oddly enough.
No, I fully agree because you gotta know, like, he's trying to play it like he's seeing aliens for the first time, but in his
Right.
subconscious, it's not for the first time. So something about this does feel familiar, and it's something like Will Smith, Jay points out, is like, well, you always felt a little like at home
You know,
amongst
why
these
do you think you always feel so comfortable here?
right. And he's like kind of got this whole, it's like a lot going on in the head. It's a very layered performance, but he does play it very well and plays it very straight and plays it very like not stoic isn't quite the word, but it's like a stoicism with some depth in those eyes, and that's what does that's what pulls it off. And like it comes to a crux or to a T, like when he pulls a cigarette out of the guy's mouth who's underneath the thing.
Smoking.
No smoking. It's
I
great.
don't know why that's always stayed with me even since like it came out, but the no smoking. It
Yeah,
just makes me
absolutely.
laugh every time. It's so silly, but it makes me giggle. That and the when Jay walks in and you see him for the first time and he's talking about how the United States Postal Service won't take packages done a certain way and he's
Right.
explaining it. And
Yeah.
then that little girl comes up for the stamps and Jay picks her up and he goes, "Sorry, sweetie, gotta go. World to save here." And he like picks her up and moves her.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Oh yeah. Oh
There's
yeah.
little moments like that that remind me that this is why I love these movies. This is why I love this world, and it's really because of those guys more than
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
And so once they're on screen together, specifically, it really starts to gel.
The
The
magic
problem
is back.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, the problem is I just don't think the storyline this time around is like nearly as interesting.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Part of the problem is like, all right, Lara Flynn Boyle is our new baddie,
Twin
and I
Peaks' own.
love Twin Peaks' own Lara Flynn Boyle, but I don't feel like she's given as much to do as she could have. I feel like they have like it's more like it feels like more of an eye candy role than what I know she's
Well,
capable of
I mean,
delivering.
part of that is intentional, right? Because what is the first thing that Serlina sees when she comes out of
Right,
the yeah.
right, right. But I feel like they could have given her more,
Oh, no doubt about it.
and we could have gotten better. I think the film would have been better for it. On the flip side, they gave Rosario Dawson a lot to do as the new Linda Fiorentino Park kind of thing, and I think she nails it. I think
She's
she
great in
absolutely nails
this.
it. She like it showcases exactly why she's loved all these years because she has this great amount of like innocence, but like kindness and
Mhm.
empathy. And then like, but like when she learns who she is, she kind of has the grace of a princess. Like it's a
Yeah.
magical like kind of growth of production, and I think casting her was a masterstroke as well.
Well, and she like, this is a really early role for her, and she's just really terrific in it.
Yeah,
I really, really like her in it. And her character really plays well off of the storyline that they build for Jay in this, which is actually one of the things that I wish that they had done more of. That it kind of gets lost after the opening of the movie, but I do like that he struggles with this idea that no one knows who he is anymore.
Yeah,
And I love that whole scene when he's talking to Patrick Warburton and he goes, "Why did you join? You wanted to be the hero. Like you want people to know who you are, but like this is not that line of business." And he goes, "Do you know who James Edwards is?" And he goes, "No." And he goes, "Well, James Edward just saved, how many people tonight in the middle of a subway in the middle of New York and no one's going to know who he is."
right,
And this whole like struggle with I can't be loved. I can't
right.
be a person anymore. Like this is a really difficult thing. And that's such a great move and such a great storyline thing.
I feel like it's something that like the studio heads, the producers would be like, "Well, yeah, that's not ain't that kind of movie." And I'm like, "That's where you got it wrong. You can have that struggle, and that actually makes this a better movie and actually works as a like opposite, uh, but like opposites working together to make a more cohesive, enjoyable, memorable movie. You have the sequences, you deliver that, you build on his character and the depth of Jay's character, that's what a sequel is supposed to do. We're supposed to learn more about our characters, supposed to give them more depth, give them more backstory, give them more like movement forward. Not supposed to stay the same. But then you combine it with the imagination and the fun and that they get from a Men in Black film. And there's still a lot of fun to be had. You do that, that becomes a memorable performance. And by letting that kind of like you touch and go on it, it just becomes kind of a touch and go moment that you're like, okay, well, it's fine. It's fine. But like it potentially could have been great.
No, right. And I think that for me is ultimately the biggest issue with this movie is that all the pieces are there for it to be great
Yeah.
and it's good. It's
Yes.
fun, but it's not touching the original. And now granted, obviously we've talked about this before, like when you're lightning in a bottle and you hit the way that you hit, you're never really going to get the chance to touch the original.
Right.
And like we're both aware of that and that it's almost an impossible task. That being said, it's really hard though when you kind of retread story points and things too, and you don't go out of your way to do something fully new because it can hold it back and then it just does feel and I'm not going to say lifeless because there's the one thing this movie is not is lifeless.
No, absolutely not.
Um,
Absolutely not.
I can see people trying to say that, but like, no, it's not lifeless. Like the everyone involved is really putting their all into it. The problem is the story is just not
It's just
fully
flat.
there.
It's just kinda
Yeah,
flat. Like, it's like, I don't even, like, really necessarily even understand what's going on as far as, like, the light and the world, and, like, it's like it's not I don't understand it, but it's just like, I don't understand what is, like the stakes seem, like, very vague, but not in, like, a MacGuffin kinda way. If it's a MacGuffin and it's, like, just considered a MacGuffin, that's one thing, but, like, try to go all through it, so they talk about this light the entire time, and it just feels like they're trying to explain things, and I'm kinda like, "I don't really care." Like, I knew the first film we had the galaxy and around the neck.
yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know. We're good. And I move on. And like it feels like gets bogged down trying to like to tell what we're doing instead of just doing our thing. And it kind
That
of slows it down.
you're not wrong, but I'll say this. The opening of the movie is a little low key brilliant, having Peter
I
Graves
like that.
hosting Mysteries in History to
Yes.
explain it in the past. Like, I love that.
With the classic like Doctor Who special effects kind of thing, the
Yeah,
classic Doctor Who
yeah.
special effects, old school.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that too.
It's perfect. I think that's such a smart opening. It I'll say this though too to that regard. The movie is really missing the energy of the original movie's opening, but it's kind of doing its own thing with this. And so like
Mm,
that works. It's once Serlina lands, I don't really care as much. And then like
yeah.
but then we move just as quickly into the stuff with Agent J and Patrick Warburton and then it's super fun again.
Right. Right.
And the truth is I think I just kinda don't care about Sarlina. And I don't think that this is a Laura Flynn Boyle thing so much as it's just a character thing. Like, I
Yeah. Yeah.
really
That's fine.
don't
Yeah.
they really undermined how little they give that character in what she's looking for and
Right.
why. And again, it just kind of feels like the Bug situation where there's a warring factions for this planetary thing that may or may not apparently explode if it doesn't leave our atmosphere by midnight,
Maybe, probably, partially.
apparently,
Yeah,
but it's never explained
right.
really more than that, like in passing.
I fully agree. It's just kind of like it's just kind of this. Like that's what I meant before. Like she's eye candy, and they use her as eye candy. But then getting beyond that, just feels like I don't know or necessarily care about what's going on with her. I like the fun stuff, Patrick Warburton. Hell, that's one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when Will Smith gets to the front of the train, and you see the driver in there. He's like, "No one makes a decision on this bus except for Larry." Oh yeah, look at this. Larry just made a
Hey,
decision.
Larry, that's my boy Jeff. Larry just made a decision. Yeah, Larry's gonna get his ass in there.
Perfect. That's the Men in Black like energy and fun we were missing up until that point, and that kind of comes and goes sporadically.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
but when it hits, it hits. And again,
yeah,
I will say that like everyone in the movie comes to play. Um, as weird as it's gonna sound, and I really mean this, Johnny Knoxville is like one of the best parts of this movie.
yeah.
And
Shockingly,
you know why?
honestly,
Yeah, because he's great at the side character thing. He has been ever since he was doing acting. Like you look at stuff like The Last Action Hero, or not Last Action Hero,
Last
The
Stand.
Last Stand.
That
Yeah,
was
with
the
Arnold
Arnold one.
Schwarzenegger.
Arnold one. Yep.
Or you look at Walking
Walking
Tall with The
Tall.
Rock. Like these movies where Knoxville is kind of the like secondary character, he really knows the movies he's in. And so in this in particular, he really leans in on being like a really fun support character
Yeah.
for the villain. And while his character doesn't get like a ton to do, he stands out every single time.
Right. Well, he also fits that role. Like, Men in Black has always done a good job of like the running trope of picking people who would be aliens
Mhm.
on Earth. If this was a real, if Men in Black was real, these are the people who would have been taken over by aliens. They're probably really aliens. Johnny Knoxville is exactly the kind of guy you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Michael
And
Jackson,
him
yeah, that
with the
makes
double
sense.
head thing is perfect.
Right, absolutely. He's a character, so you make him a character actor, but he doesn't. He's so good at being a character actor. He knows that he can shine with little to do because he'll make the most out of everything he's given, and he does, and he becomes more compelling than Lara Flynn Boyle's character by far. He's far more
Mhm,
the interesting villain at that point, or
mhm.
villain. That's a
Yeah,
word.
and I've heard now, granted, like this movie's deleted scenes pretty much do not exist
Mm,
for us to have seen,
right, I heard
but
that too.
I understand that his character had quite a bit more.
I'm betting he probably got the chance to kind of improv some things and here
Yeah.
and there and got to like give a shot at things. And I would love to see it because I think he kind of seems like he's that kind of guy that could make it better just by throwing some things out there and making
Mhm.
different choices or giving us like definite alternate takes. Like throw
Yeah,
this and see what we're doing
100%.
kind of thing. And we just got whatever the director thought was the best.
I'll say too, one of the things that I really enjoy with this though is that they really lean in on being more Men in Black than the first one in some regard, and that's because since it's a sequel, the budget can be bigger. So
Right.
there's so many more creature designs and aliens and things that are involved in the film in a way that seem a lot more prominent, even if it's like one-off scenes. Like I love the scene where they go to Jack Jeeves to do the deneuralization. It's
Yep.
a great, great scene, and Tony Shalhoub once again just aces in the role.
Knows what he wants to do. Yep.
Yep, and again, talk about a dude who looks like he'd probably be an alien in real life, Tony
That's
Shalhoub.
it. That's it.
Um, but they also have all these henchmen show up, and they're all aliens, and they're all, like, cool creature design sort of things, and I really, really appreciate that because if you have the extra money to do it, lean on it, and that's also allowing the worms to be, like, secondary characters. It's allowing Frank the Pug to be a bigger character, and I actually kinda love the Frank the Pug being Agent J's new partner you know, they get J until they get Tommy Lee Jones back as K.
Right. I know that too. I think that's a smart thing because Frank was a big part. He was a big hit in the first film.
Yes.
To expand it out there, they actually there's a danger of having them expand it too much. Sometimes that
Mhm.
side character takes over, but they don't do that. They give him more to do, but they don't like rely on him to be like the secondary lead. Like a lot of times you'd see
Right,
like it would have been, they would have been a trio. Now it's
right.
just kind of like Frank is like doing his thing, getting a little more time, getting more fun parts. Because and he has the cringy "who let the dogs out" moment, which is kind of like that's where you get a little too far sometimes, maybe.
But
But
like, for the era, it works and it
right,
makes sense, yeah.
right, absolutely. And so I do. I think that was a smart decision. Let's expand that out a little bit, but also with restraint to
Yes.
make it still work.
Well, and it's funny because they actually put him on quite a few of the posters too, sitting
Yeah.
between them, and they really did try to sell it like they were more of a trio.
Right, which is actually understandable because like people remember
Right.
that like bringing it out there, but that's actually the best of both worlds. You kind of sell it out there and you give them something, but just don't rely on it.
My favorite line with him, though, it's when they get there and they realize that, it's the scene where they find Serlena's ship in Central Park, and they're
Yep.
walking up to deal with it, and the one agent starts laughing, he goes, "You have kids?" And the guy goes, "No," and he goes, "You want them?" And the guy goes, and as
Uh,
Jay keeps walking, you hear Frank attacking the guy and screaming in the background.
yeah, that is pretty funny.
It's so silly, and, like, they know that it's silly, and so, like, those scenes are really great. The scene where they go to Tommy Lee Jones's house or his original apartment, and Sonnenfeld and his family are sitting in the apartment,
That's so good.
it's
That is such
so
a good
good.
moment, yeah.
Like, that whole reveal, and then the family just staring at all the weapons and all the worm guys walking through. Oh my god, it's perfect.
And like they don't know they have to really they don't know. And we might not have a lot of time left, so get to the loving and cherishing. All right, let's go.
Yeah, and she can stay up as late as she wants and
Eat all the
have
junk
all the
food.
ice cream.
Whatever it is. So good, so fun.
It it
Yeah.
it's a movie that at least when it's working, it really does work.
Mm,
The problem is that it does fall behind a little bit in a story capacity, and I know that we're gonna keep saying that, but, like, it's true. Like,
right.
the biggest problem with this movie ultimately is that its story just doesn't really go anywhere.
No, it becomes more about like on paper it does make sense. Like, well, the story is kind of secondary to getting J and K band together and forming a team, yada yada. And it's like, okay, well, that's the important part. We got to get the magic back and everything else. But unfortunately, it's like the story does matter though, because without the story, it's just kind of a series of vignettes, really. That like kind of like, okay, so we got it's like almost Silent Live. Okay, so we get K back together. Now what? And now you have this like kind of weird aimless thing with like them taking over the Men in Black headquarters and stuff. It just kind of just falls apart around it. Luckily, like Will and Tommy and the others are so good and they have so much great chemistry that you can rely on them to kind of make it entertaining still, and it is entertaining. But it just feels flat, especially when you got comparative comparisons to the first film.
Oh, 100%, and I do love the idea of, like, Men in Black being taken over. All that stuff is great in some capacity because that's the kinda stuff that I do wanna see more of, right? Like, you
Right.
want to see aliens coming to Earth, like, the idea that they know that this group exists and they want to take them from power, like, that stuff's great. And it did give Zed a little bit to do, which I also appreciated. I like that Rip Torn gets a little more to do. I like that he gets a semi mini action beat. Like, yeah, it's really silly, but like it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. That's fun enough. Absolutely.
But I also kind of wish that it felt like there was more of a fight for the Men
Yeah.
in Black.
Yeah,
You
they got taken
know,
over
like,
pretty quickly
yeah, like there's how many of these agents, and yet it seems like they're pretty much taken out pretty quickly with no real fight at all.
by one alien and a few subordinates, and it's like, "That's all it took?"
Hmm.
This is like that's like going to, like, the FBI or CIA headquarters and, like, taking over that with, like, one, like, like, what are we doing here? Obviously, I don't know, yeah, it feels a lot like the story is an excuse for the characters, which it just doesn't have that balance that you need to have.
No, and I guess that that's gonna kinda be the issue with this movie overall, and it's a thing that I'm actually excited to talk about with the third one, is that, like,
Right.
the third one has a real great, like, story, and it really finds its voice, and it really finds like, an idea, it really works.
Yeah, it's a story with stakes, but that works with the character and development, and because of the characters, they actually gel together to make a film. This feels like the character and the story are just two separate things that just happen to be going on at the same time, and that's what makes it so not partially what makes it so, blah.
Yeah, and again, it's weird because I don't even think the movie is fully blah, like, when it works, it works. The
Yeah,
problem is that at the end of the day, it just doesn't kind of organically gel the same way, and it just recreates too many beats, like, even the ending. As
right,
weird as it sounds, like, you have this moment where Rosario is leaving, and the alien goes after her, and they pull big guns out of the back of their car to kill the alien again.
right,
It's just like them shooting down, the spaceship.
right.
So you're kind of just recreating those moments. Now, again, the next step to that was really cute and fun was that they kill the alien, and then Jay is like, everyone in the tri-state area just saw what happened, basically. And the
Right.
reveal that the Statue of Liberty has a giant neuralizer in it is terrific.
That's fun. That's exactly the kind of fun we need to have. Exactly. Make it kind of like it's like unbelievable fun that like doesn't
Yeah.
make sense on a macro level, but because it's the film we're watching, we buy into it. And of course, it's like the ending. They actually have a great ending, just like the first film. With the whole first
Mhm.
film had the whole big marble thing. This time we all learned after the debut of these aliens in a locker in Grand Central Station. We learned that our whole world's in a locker in somebody else's Grand Central Station. As a
Yeah.
key, like that's the thing, I think kind of a repetitive joke you can keep making over and find new ways to make that joke. That's a good ending for it.
It's a great ending. One of the things I also really love in the movie, though, is when Kay's memory finally comes back, and he goes and he's standing outside of Jeebs's shop, and he starts
Mm,
looking around, and it starts to kinda come back to him what he was. And
right,
so you're seeing the little things like the postman with a tail,
right,
and the homeless person walking by, and there's a creature inside, like, looking out at him. And then he goes to step on the roach, and he stops, and then the roach goes, "It's a damn nice thing for you to do," or whatever it is,
right, right,
and
right.
he starts to realize that he is back, and that is Kay. Like, I love that.
Me too. Me too. Although there's part of it that makes it seem regressive, and I guess they needed to explain a few things, but the way they explained them all felt regressive to me. Like we have two things. First of all, we know behind the scenes that Linda Fiorentino was not well liked, and Tommy Lee Jones potentially refused to work with her. That's kind of like a we don't
Yeah.
know if that's confirmed, but that's what the rumor is. And I'm happy because I don't love Linda Fiorentino anyway. But it's kind of like also she was so in on everything, and they explain it off where like Jay's like, yeah, she wanted to go back to work for the morgue, so I neuralized her again. It's like what? That doesn't make sense at all to the character we saw. Like
Yeah.
you could find a better excuse. Like, give me a better excuse at least. And same thing, like also when Tommy Lee Jones' wife left him. Like she waited 30 years when he's in a coma. All of a sudden, like he comes back and he's like, "Oh, real love." It kind of like undercuts that whole thing when she leaves him at like, "Oh, because of whatever, whatever, whatever." He's not happy or whatever. It's kind of like I would actually would rather her have died or something like have her like have done I don't know or have her be in it and have her
Yeah.
like say, I gotta go to the Men in Black now. I don't know what you would do, but it kind of like every time I heard something like that, it's kind of like that's kind of feels like disrespectful to the first film, like and what it had laid out as like who these people were.
It's really hard when you do stuff like that to bring people back and to you run into those situations, because
Right.
yeah, I don't love that one in particular when they're like, "Yeah, you went back home and you found love, but then you kept looking at the stars and you knew there was more to all of this, and, like, that's why she left you, Kay, that's why she left you." And it's like, "Oh,
Really?
come on, man. Like, that's not fair," because but then again, like, I guess it is just playing off of the line from the first movie in some capacity. "It's better to
Yeah.
love and lost. Try it." And so only for him to finally get it back and to have it happen again.
Right. I,
And so I
yeah.
guess there's something to be said that, like, that in particular is more like building off of it, but you're not wrong.
Right.
Like, you're not. And I understand what you're saying, and that is accurate. Like, I can't argue that that's not right because you are right.
Right.
Um
Yeah.
It's weird.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I guess it just it because it feels like it just anytime you do something like that, it's like a disconnect from the first film, and anytime you disconnect from the first film, you're disconnecting from something that made that first something about that film made it magical, and it was all the ingredients. And it might not even say an important thing, but you take one of those ingredients out, and all of a sudden it feels like less than, and it feels
Yes.
less than. If you do something that like if she you could say that Linda Fiorentino's character maybe they split up and she's off in the international. You could started out, she went to the London office or went to a different office or something. That feels better and more in tune with her character. And then like and the same thing, Tommy Lee Jones. You can find a way to make it work or have her be there. I don't know. It just feels like that doesn't. It doesn't feel like a continuation. It feels like it's working against the film, the first film, and
Yeah.
those are definitely minor like nitpicky moments. I get it, but
But it's fair all the same.
right. It just feels like I'm trying to explain why I feel disconnected from this film comparatively. And that's just part of the reason why it's that whole mix of things. I just kind of like, but is what it is.
No, it is what it is, and, like, at the end of the day, I do think that when it hits and it's magic, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
its problem is that when it's not, it's just kind of feeling like it's spinning wheels to the next thing. It's not that the movie is dead because it's not. Again, I would argue that compared to a lot of movies, and I'll even say it, at least this movie, it feels like everyone wants to be here.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2, a movie we talked about before this, it is very clear who wants to be there and who isn't.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with
Um,
that.
that movie really doesn't fully come together because it doesn't feel like everyone wants to be there. This movie, at least everyone is involved and is putting their hearts into it, and you can tell. Like, it really gels when it does. Even the stuff with David Cross, talk about him taking something so silly from the first movie and bringing it back. That's a great scene
Yeah. That's that one works very well. Absolutely. David
because
Cross is
it feels like world building, right?
right. And that's what these things need. When you have such an in depth world like they've created, then like why wouldn't you expand that out the more we go visit? Because we loved that world. So revisit that world and bring on it. Yeah, the video rental place is one of my favorite sequences in the film as well. It's fun with his I don't know partner slash whatever and the whole thing. You want to go to where is that? Where I don't know where she wants to go. I forget where. Like
And she wants to go to Cambodia.
Cambodia. You want to Cambodia? Cambodia? Yeah, let's go. All right, and move out of your goddamn mother's house, Mom. It's great. I love that bit. I love that bit. It's perfectly done.
Oh god, yeah, and then him grabbing the the
The shovel or whatever. The
shovel is
yeah.
just so funny. Like, again, it's just one of those little things that really works within the film.
Mhm.
Um, this movie, when
Works.
it works. And I will say this, for a tight 88-minute movie, it flies by. Like,
Yes.
even when it's not as engaging as the first one is, I'm never bored. I'm never
Right.
waiting for the next thing to happen because the movie is moving so quickly
At a good clip. Yeah.
at a good clip that it gets over its little bumps faster and
Right.
just kind of keeps rolling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It never stops. And that is why overall it is a successful film because it doesn't like it, most of these times when you have things like this happen, they try to expand out too much and it gets bloated. And then like all of a sudden we're at like almost 2 hours. And it's like, this is not, these are
Yeah.
never 2 hour movies. These are supposed to be 90 minutes tops kind of thing. Let's get in, let's get out, have some fun, some magic, and move on. And that's what this does. It just doesn't do it as well. That's all.
No, it just because again, and I will give it a lot of like, I will give it some grace knowing that a lot of the movie had to be reworked, especially the third act because of 9/11 and things like
Mhm.
that. So, like, I'm very understanding that it did have a harder time coming together.
Right.
Um, I just wish that they had found a better through line story that didn't feel just like a retread of the first one, kind
Right.
of flipped on its head. And I
Right.
think that that's always going to be my biggest contention with this film. And there's a reason that like it was not critically received as well, and it still made a lot of money. Don't pretend it didn't. It was the fifth highest grossing movie of its year.
Oh yeah.
but that was considering the first one was like the highest grossing movie of its year. So like it definitely even fell out with audiences.
Right, absolutely. I think they all kind of felt the same way. I remember when it came out, like I saw it in the theaters and kind of felt that way. And I feel like that was the prevailing winds were saying the kind of thing like, well, it's solid, it's okay, it was okay, but it felt like tired a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when you sleep too long and you wake up and your body's like not waking up. That's what this film feels like. It feels like it took too long to come together. The hype was pretty much gone at that point anyway. This is why studios like to capitalize on film. That's why sequels come back quickly. It's like you gotta hit it while it's hot. You wait too long, it's like a train. You got to start building it up again, and you never quite get there in this film. So
Yeah.
it's like, so that's why it takes a long time to go back for Men in Black 3. I forgot how long it took to go back even for
I mean, over a decade.
yeah, absolutely. But the film is better for it.
I 100% agree, and we will get into that obviously in the next episode. But like the one thing that I think that was good in some capacity about this one is that because it was not as critically well received, because the audience liked it, didn't love it, it feels like they really took their time with the third one
Right.
to really get it right. Now,
Yeah.
granted, the third movie had an arguably worse production than any of these movies combined
Yeah.
of the first three. Enough that again, we will get into it. Sony almost pulled the plug on the thing altogether.
Right.
Um, I think that that movie ultimately was better for it, and it
I
really
agree.
comes together in a way that feels organic and it feels natural. And it, if we never get a fourth one, with like these characters, because at
Right.
this point, I
I don't think we
think
will.
that's gone.
That's sailed. Yeah. Men in Black
Um,
International already didn't do very well, so I have no doubts they don't want to. I mean, especially Tommy Lee Jones. I think he's too almost like too old to do anything with
you
this
could
at this point.
easily do a like he is now one of like the heads of
Men in the
Men in
Chair.
Black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's what
because
he would
there's
have to
good
do.
look, let's not pretend that Sony's not gonna figure out a way to try to do a legacy sequel with Will Smith.
Yeah,
Like,
that
I
I agree.
in a world of legacy sequels, they will find a way to do it.
Right.
Um, but if anything, the third film feels like a kind of a natural conclusion to this
Yeah.
iteration, and so we
Right.
will get into that.
As you
I
are.
think we've kind of spun our wheels on
A little
what's
bit.
left to say about Men in Black 2, though.
I have a couple of notes I'll throw out there that I'll just kind of the ones I do have left. The pizza owner, the alien from the pizza owner. I just remember
Mm.
him. I just want to throw it out there. I remember him from Fever Pitch as
Yes,
Jimmy
yes,
Fallon's
correct.
uncle. I like that reference. I did like. I love the line when they have the whole automatic driver guy was funny. Like the coming goes in and out of the steering wheel. I love the one guy's like, yeah, Kane's the black dude, but he kept getting pulled over. Right.
Yeah,
Doesn't
right.
miss a beat. Their chemistry is like just how they, of course, yeah, just back and forth, great. One thing we didn't mention at all, which actually was my favorite bits, was probably one of my favorite CGI work of the time. The worms and the worm joints and everything else. That was actually a really fun part when
Oh,
Rosario does
dude,
these little worms and stuff.
yes,
Great
yes.
moments, and they were great characters. They were like kind of like the Frank the Pug of this film in a way, kind of like smaller bits, but they're memorable. Rosario plays well off them together. It's a fun, they're fun moments for sure. I think.
Well, and we have to remember one of part of where that all came from, which I love, is that the TV show was very popular with kids, and so
Yeah,
the animated series had really made the Worm guys and Frank bigger characters,
which makes sense. Yeah,
and I loved that. Like, I
yeah,
think that was really, really cool, and I thought they did a really nice job with it here.
agreed. Absolutely agreed. So, all right, then if we're all finished up, then why don't we hit our franchise rankings and let's rate this some bitch like we do. We open it up. We have this is our Ghostbusters. In case we hadn't mentioned this earlier on, we are in a Ghostbusters Men in Black crossover season. We're doing them all in release order. So we have covered Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Men in Black, Men in Black 2. So we are going to rate them all together in one go. We actually do have an interesting, fun crossover series coming up probably close to next, maybe next. We'll have to see. I don't know if we announced it yet. We kind of talked about it once or twice here, I think, on the show before, maybe, but I like the idea that PJ came up with. So we'll get there. Let's go with Ghostbusters 1.
You're
We
a good
both gave
man.
it with 11. Ghostbusters 2, I gave an 8.5. You gave a 6.5. Men in Black, I gave a 9. You gave that a perfect 11, which I get, understandable. So Men in Black 2, where does that sit for you?
So I think Men in Black 2 I would rather watch this than Ghostbusters 2,
Oh, interesting.
which
Okay.
is and I think it's also still kinda down to I think because it's 88 minutes, because the cast seems like they really wanna be there, even with the wonkiness of it, like, ultimately, I have more fun at a brisk 88 minutes in and out sort of thing.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna give this a 8.
Yeah, okay. It's actually very funny because we are exactly the opposite on this, I think. I would probably watch Ghostbusters 2, again, more nostalgic reasons because I love Bill Murray
Right.
so much. Even if he doesn't wanna be there, I think he performs it enough that I'm having fun with it. Um, I feel like it's I can't say it's a more complete movie because it's not, but I have a few more fun moments in it, as sloppy as that is. I gave this one a 6.5, which is what you gave Ghostbusters to, which is fun
Of
to me.
course.
It's funny to me. I gave Ghostbusters to 8.5. You gave this one an 8. It actually, we are literally almost just swapping on it.
Yeah.
But I understand it too. It's almost like Ghostbusters was my time, Men in Black was your time in our age
Yep.
range. And we both were there for, we both loved both of them at the same time. That's
Yeah.
just more of my franchises at that point, especially the earlier in, episodes of it or installments, I should say. But yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I have no problem with the 8 for you giving that an 8 because you
No,
have
and
done it very
again,
well. So,
it's one that I give it knowing that, like, it has the issues and things like that, but, like, I think you're right because of how old I was when it came out, because I grew up with it, because, like, for me, I always loved Ghostbusters, but we've talked about it on here. I think Men in Black was always like, even though Ghostbusters is in my top 10 movies of all time, like, Men in Black is the one that's the most nostalgic for me just
right.
because it's the one I grew up in that
Absolutely.
era, and so Men in Black 2 just has that spot,
Right.
in my heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. That's where your mileage just may vary at some points, and it is what it is. But great. So next up, we actually have, I believe, Men in Black 3 is next, correct? Am I correct?
That
Because
is correct,
one's 12,
because
Men in
it's
Black
not
3.
until it's after Men in Black 3, then we are gonna do Ghostbusters 2016, then it should be Men in Black International, and then it'll be Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire.
Right. So we got a little while left on these. Still have a lot of fun with them for sure. And both of us can't wait to get to those Ghost Busters legacy sequels, which we both really, really love.
Mhm.
We also both actually know that we really love Men in Black 3. So can't wait to visit that next week. So yeah. All right.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it because I think Men in Black 3 gets a real weird rap around the internet, but,
It
like, people
does.
who love it, like, genuinely love it, and I am one of those people that, like, genuinely fucking loves this movie, and I have since the weekend it opened, and I will never probably change my tune on that, and so I'm really excited to, like, sit down and talk to you about it because I think it's one of those movies that it is only getting better with time, and
Right.
it is a reminder that, like, because technically speaking, I consider it a legacy sequel. Legacy sequels is usually about a decade to me. If you wait about a decade to do one, I consider it a legacy sequel. Um, it's doing a legacy sequel right.
That's an interesting point. I'll say I'll let you guys know ahead of time. I think I mentioned it before, but in case you missed it, I saw this once. Only once have I
Mhm.
seen this, and it was not in the theaters. Men in Black 2 soured me enough, but when Men in Black 3 came out, I was kind of like, eh. It also came out at a time when I wasn't watching movies as much in the theaters. It wasn't until like after 2000, like right around this time when I started going back to movies again, like in the theaters. The kids
Right.
were old enough and stuff. Um, and Men in Black 3 was just not really on my radar. I was kind of like, okay, I didn't love the second one. Maybe I'll see it eventually when it comes out in video, and I just kind of forgot about it. And then like I don't know, like a few years later, like 5 or 6 years later down the line, I kind of watched it during a Men in Black run, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually really freaking good." I really did like it, so I can't wait to revisit it and see if I still feel that way after a second viewing of it before we go on for sure. So, all right, PJ, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me wherever social medias are sold at PJ_Campbell, and of course, you can find me here gabbing about movies and things with the gentleman over here next to me, the handsome
Oh,
man who was doing runs and walks earlier. What a badass! Love you, man.
I love you, man. I love you as well. You can find me at this the same social media bits and everything else. You see those. You can find me on this channel a lot. We do review every other week. Me and Lego. We're talking about the big finish stuff,
Hold
and then
up,
we're going to go into. Oh, okay. We're holding up.
a Macho Man Randy Savage biopic is in the works with Keenan Thompson set to produce.
I did see that just pop up on my screen as well.
Hold up.
Interesting.
What?
That is an interesting thing. That is very much Kenan Thompson is really getting into producing
Producer
stuff
side.
as well. Considering, did you know what else he's making?
Yeah, he's doing the sleepaway
Sleepaway
camp.
Camp.
Yep. I love it. I love it so much.
I am like, I don't know what the hell to think about that film. Like that's like that is a weird marriage to me. And
I
Sleepaway.
just can't.
Okay.
I
All right.
can't, but I love it. I'm so curious.
I am curious. I'll definitely say that for sure. But yeah, so you can find me all over. We actually, Lego and I talk about that just the end of off air, I think, afterwards. But on review, we're doing that. We're also going to cover, we're going to go back to review adjacent and cover Watchers 1 and 2 there. You can find me also on Holy Snokes every other week. This week, Maddie and I are going to be back talking the Star Wars Lego release that just came out, Rebuild the Galaxy, Save the Pieces. And also, we'll probably touch base on the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer that just popped up. I have a lot to say about that. And I think that is pretty much everything I do, right? Because we do our week. Yeah, we're good to go. And yeah, we will see you then next time. I said earlier that we were doing Men in Black 3 next week. No, it's not next week. It's we do every
Well,
other
I
week.
just, it's the next episode.
Our next episode there, our Patreon next week, we're actually on Captain America Civil War. The Marvel stuff will eventually come out on the main channel, but if you want to see it earlier now, we are up to Civil War. So that's how many episodes you have banked up in our Patreon. Again, patreon.com/PLD Projects if you want to join us there, or the YouTube membership. Do what you need to do, guys. We love you. We'll see you next time. Peace.